Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I'm going to be dubbing the surprise beer review. Why is it a surprise beer review? Because I didn't know I was going to be doing a beer review tonight. Why didn't I know I was going to be doing a beer review tonight? Well, at work, this is my security job, and you don't know what company I am, because technically I broke the rules, because I'm not supposed to be accepting things, accepting gifts or handouts from people. But anyways, one of the tenants came down and had like a mixed sixer of old beer. And it's like, well, I said I couldn't accept this, and he said, well, I'm just going to put this down right here, he left it on the bench, and whatever happens to it, happens to it. So as soon as it was gone, I went and grabbed it. This has happened before, but the beer that I picked up before was like so old that I didn't even want to drink it, so I just handed it off to someone who drinks for alcohol alone. Now this one has 3 different beers in it. I probably will only be seriously reviewing this one, mainly because it is the only one that is fairly fresh. This one has a brew-on date of December 25th, 2016, which is, a little over 3 months ago. Kind of old for a Pilsner, but, still okay. And this is Pilsener Urquell, the original Pilsner from Pilsen in the Czech Republic. It's 4.4 ABV. Let's read the label, shall we? In 1842, the Citizens Brewery in Pilsen brewed the world's first golden Pilsner and never stopped. We make it in the same way, in the same place, with 100% of our ingredients from the same farming regions in Czech, as always. So, since 1842, and, this is the original Czech Pilsner. So, either using water that is very soft, creates a very soft sort of pillowy experience, not as crisp as a German Pilsner. This is 4.4 ABV, not too high alcohol, as a Pilsner shouldn't be too high alcohol. And bottle here seems to be brownish green, so I'm hoping it's not light struck. Well, let's get to it, shall we? Nice golden color. Very nicely carbonated. Almost like a whirlwind of carbonation. Of course, a fluffy white head, which unfortunately a hair has fallen into. I need to clean my glasses better. I just wipe them out before I use them. I don't actually wash them with water, so. Very sweet. Very sweet malts. Sweet and biscuity. Hint of floral noble hops. And slight smell of skunk too. I would imagine in a fresher one the hops probably will come through a little bit more. But there's still a nice floral essence there. But mostly sweet biscuity malts at this point. It's a little bit darker than I've seen some other Czech Pilsners. Very aesthetic beer, though, visually. Despite the fact that there's, the hops aren't very present in the nose, it's, nicely bitter in the finish there. In the front, the malts aren't as sweet as they smell either. It's almost a drier crackeriness. Still very round as opposed to the sharpness of a German Pilsner. Despite being only 4.4, it feels very thick on the palate. It's actually quite interesting how that is. Nice biting carbonation. I'd like to have this a little bit colder. I put it in the refrigerator when I got home, but I still had a 20-minute ride from work to here after I took it out from the work refrigerator. So it's probably a little bit warmer than the ideal. Nice minerality to it, especially in the mid to finish. There's some, I wouldn't say skunkiness, but I would say some off notes, probably just due to the age and due to poor storage conditions. But still, this is an excellent Pilsner. Off notes mostly show in the finish. Doesn't quite clear the palate. There's kind of a weird little sourness there. Again, I'm sort of attributing that to the fact that it hasn't been stored quite right. Because when I got this sixer, it was warm. He probably had it in the cabinet or something. And, you know, it's a little bit old, not super old. And this bottle looks to be brownish green as opposed to a very dark brown. You can see right through it. So probably a little bit light struck. But you can tell that the base beer in here is really good. And that, despite the fact that it's been green bottle, probably light struck, and probably stored warmer than it should be. There's some, you know, there's a great beer behind this. Yeah. I definitely have to say, I would love to try this fresh and on draft. You know, it's getting to the point where, well, Pilsner is one of my favorite styles, so I've drank many. So, you know, what I'm tasting right now, I'm a little bit off, a little bit past due, but I can tell that there's an excellent base there, you know, hitting all the marks. This was the original Pilsner, and it's pretty much the quintessential Czech Pilsner. Round flavor, minerality, crisp but not sharp crisp. Interesting malts. Floral noble hops. And very refreshing. This ghost is, I'm noticing too, a nice ghost of almost honeyed sweetness, just like on the lips and on the tips. Hop bitterness is enough there to clear the palate. And, you know, this is just a great Pilsner. And I really want to try it in ideal conditions, which I suppose would be traveling to the Czech Republic, because I've never seen this on draft before. Well, it's a foreign beer, so obviously I'm not going to see it on draft. And I'm probably not going to find it in a store in Hawaii, stored in, you know, transported and stored in ideal conditions all the way from the Czech Republic. So, you know, perhaps someday I'll get to go and try this in the original, but as it is, I'm kind of enjoying it right now. Even as old and as beaten as this particular Pilsner is. And it's holding up a lot better than a lot of other beers that haven't been as well treated. So I'm quite duly impressed. Well, folks, that's your beer review for tonight. Pilsener Urquell. Again, this is a beer that all beer drinkers... I'm not drunk, it's just late. That all beer drinkers, serious beer drinkers, should try. Because it is a definitive beer. In that it defined a very important style that from which a lot of other beers took off. American Macro Lager basically took off from the Pilsner style. And this is the, you know, definitive Pilsner. So you have to go and try it if you're a beer drinker. Even if you don't really like Pilsners all that much, you know, you just kind of owe it to yourself. In the same way that, you know, anyone who's interested in history, if they're driving through, like, Virginia, has to go and see, like, Civil War battlegrounds and whatnot. Okay, maybe not my best analogy, but you get where I'm going at. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.